Good morning, everybody. We're back again, live in color, Facebook. We're on YouTube, and we've been doing this thing here for 20 years. I hate to bore all you regular listeners. We've got a really good following, and but a lot of new people tune in every week, every Eastern Standard Time, 8 to 10 a.m., and we're in North Palm Beach, Florida. We've been doing it since, well, as I say, over 20 years, and started out at a half an hour. Now we're up to 2 hours. So new folks keep coming on board, so we talk to them as if they haven't heard the show before, because they haven't heard the show before. So my apologies to you regulars, thousands and thousands of you out there. We're a show about what you need to know before you buy a new or used car, or for that matter, lease or maintain, repair, or anything to do with automobiles, especially automobile dealers. We have a unique industry, a unique retail platform that hasn't changed in 100 years. We're still selling cars today, and I say we because I am a car dealer in the way of full disclosure. We're selling cars today the same way we did 100 years ago. Horse trading. It's like literally we evolved from the way horses were changed hands. You know, back in the old days. You know, when you were had barns and you had stables, and you know, kind of like Gunsmoke, and you want to buy a new horse. It was a haggling sort of a process. You didn't have a manufacturer's suggested retail price on the horse. It was what you could get the other guy to pay you for the horse. And that's the way the car business evolved. That's the way it is today. I mean, when you talk about it and think about it, it almost sounds ludicrous, doesn't it? I mean, you can't imagine walking into a normal retail store like Costco or Target or Kmart or, oh, I said Kmart is gone now, right? But Apple store and say, I'll give you that much money for that iPhone. And then the salesman says, let me talk to my manager. I mean, it's so ludicrous it makes you laugh. But that's the way you buy a car today, new car or used car or lease a car, for that matter. It's almost as bad in the service department. So this show is dedicated to arm you with the tools you need, the knowledge, suggestions, to make it safer for you to go into a car dealership or an independent dealership, for that matter, used car, have your car maintained or repaired, same sort of thing. People think they're safe when they service their cars, but did you know that most car dealerships, and in fact almost all independents, have a junk fee on their when you lease the car? I mean, when you repair the car. So you might be paying a bigger fee when you buy a car in terms of junk fees, but when you maintain and repair your car, which is more frequent, if you add up the visits and the smaller junk fees, you're probably paying percentage-wise about the same thing you did when you bought the car. So they're getting you either way. Listen to the show, and we will try to help you avoid that danger. We have a number of venues to call, a number of avenues to get through to us, communicate with us here. We're in North Palm Beach, Florida, as I say. And our main number, if you got a pencil handy, you want to write this down if you can't call now, the number is 877-960-9960. 877-960-9960. We have a text number, which is 772-497-6530. That's text, remember. 772-497-6530. Now, we've got 5 incoming lines here, and sometimes we get jammed up, and I apologize to those that have called in weeks past and not been able to get through or put on hold too long. We do our best to avoid that. So Nancy Stewart, my co-host, sitting next to me here, got a laptop computer, and Jeremy in the control room. Every time you call, your name goes on the screen, your number, where you're calling from, and we stop what we're doing in the studio. If Rick Kearney, who is my certified diagnostic master technician, most of you know if you listen to the show, if he's talking, if I'm talking, my son Stu is not in the studio this morning, But if anybody in the studio is talking and a phone call comes through, we will stop and take your call. We value phone calls. We actually, this sounds like I'm just flattering the audience, but it's true. We actually learn more from you than I think a lot of what we have to say on the show, because you ask questions that are timely, and you make suggestions that are timely. You tell us about experiences that you've had somewhere in the country or the world when you went in to have your car repaired or maintained, or when you bought a car, and it's really, really interesting. We've got a whole flock. I call them a flock. They're Rick Kearney's YouTubers, and if you've got a smartphone or you got a PC and you want to go youtube.com/Earl on Cars, youtube.com/Earl on Cars. Rick is looking at that right now, and he can tell if you've made a posting or maybe sent a question, a recommendation, even an audio clip or a video clip. We can get right on top of that, and I'd like to have some new YouTubers try it, so I give the new address or the address out. It's youtube.com/Earl on Cars. And Rick, actually, it probably ought to be Rick on Cars, because I'm talking about buying and selling cars. Rick is talking about maintaining and repairing. So everybody has a problem with maintaining and repairing a car. Some of you don't have the problem with buying the car. You already bought the car, and you're not thinking about or worrying about buying another car for 4 or 5 years. But if you bought a car, you better be bringing that car in at least once a year, maybe twice a year, and you have to have it checked. And when you go in to an independent service department, or you go into a car dealership service department, you can really be victimized. Rick?
Johnny Z. Fradley wants to know, when Napoleon was selling horses, did they put nitrogen in the hooves?
I tell you, wouldn't it be fun to go back in time and just buy a horse? I wish we could send Agent Lightning back in time and have her go in and negotiate, because it's very, very similar, right? I mean, I bet they have some tricks that we don't even know. I say we, car dealers, probably don't even know today. I wonder if there was a horse junk fee. Yeah, I mean, you'd agree upon a price, and then you'd have a stable price. We have a stable documentary fee.
Well, I bet they were pretty unstable.
Right. Anyway, it is kind of funny. I mean, it is there, and people who grew up, older people who grew up with the haggling. Haggling used to be all over. As a matter of fact, retail in I haven't been to Europe in a long time, but when Nancy and I were
too long
younger, yeah, we would travel, and when you go out of the country, there's a lot more haggling going on. I just got the high sign. Nancy has a phone call. I shut up. It's up to Nancy.
Yeah, we're going to jump right on the phones. Good morning, Doug. Welcome. Doug's calling us from Fort Lauderdale. Welcome.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Earl on Cars. What can we do for you, Doug?
Yes, Nancy. I have a 2010 Lincoln Town Car that I bought last summer with 50,000 miles on it, in a very good shape. The problem I'm having is it's stalling out occasionally when I'm stopped at a light or waiting for something, even coming into a parking spot where it's going slow. It'll stall out just before I park, but I can start it right back up, and everything else is normal.
Rick, what do you think about that?
Has anyone looked at it yet for that condition?
Yeah. I had it looked at. I had it there for 2 days, and they couldn't find really anything. They changed the fuel filter, but tells me, it's pretty much a computer thing.
Yeah, first, fuel filter is the first thing I'm going to ignore, because a fuel filter would cause more of an issue at higher speeds when it's getting a great volume of fuel going through, and a restricted fuel filter would slow that down and cause problems like on the highway. So yes, coming to a stop, fuel filter, first thing that I would not be looking at. I would be looking more towards the concern of obviously the computer, maybe the throttle body. Actually, I think the throttle body is going to be my first choice. However, the first place I always recommend folks do is go online and look for forums on your particular car, and you will find that nationwide and even worldwide, about every make or model of car has got a fan club. And in these forum sites, quite often there's going to be 4 or 5 different guys that I will call gurus. These are the guys that they know these cars inside and out, and they've taken them apart 15 times and put them back together. And I'd say they probably are going to be the best choice for giving you information about that.
Car gurus.
Okay, now Earl just looked up and got just an answer on a website here, and they're saying that for the 2010 Lincoln Town Car, the fuel pump relay and the AC clutch relay. Either one of those. AC clutch relay certainly could be causing that issue because the air conditioner will try to turn itself on and off at certain times. And if that air conditioner comes on when the computer, or stays on when the computer isn't expecting it, that could be too much draw in the engine and cause it to stall. The fuel pump relay obviously could be intermittently causing an issue like that.
Doug, have you tried to Google it yet? What Rick was reading there, I just Googled 2010 Lincoln Town Car stalling problems, and there's a lot of information there. If you went to Google and did that, you could probably narrow it down even further.
Good. No, that's a lot of help.
Well,
Yeah.
good. Let us know how it works out. If you get the right answer there and have someone that can take care of it for you, we'd love to have you call back.
Yeah, I've had it. The weather's been better, so I haven't had the AC on all the time, and it has stalled without the AC on.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be looking at the throttle body because it has what's called the idle air control, which when the throttle body plate closes, they close pretty good now. They seal very tightly, and there's a bypass that lets a certain amount of air go through so that the car will idle. And if that bypass, that idle air control is sticking, then it's not getting the right amount of air through, and it can cause the car to stall. I've seen that on a lot of older Toyotas. So that's probably one of the first places I'd be looking at.
Yeah, there's
As a matter
few.
of fact, Johnny Fradley on YouTube, he says he had that problem on a similar car, so with the idle air control.
We've had a lot of feedback, Doug, and air idle is one of them, spark plugs. So there's a few issues to look at. Give us a call.
Okay.
Let us know how things turned out for you.
I will, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Okay.
Okay, before I switch back to Earl, I want to let the ladies know that I have $50 for the first 2 new lady callers this morning. $50 for the first 2 new lady callers, and we've got a great show to get to, and I'll send it back to Earl.
Well, let me give you some good news. And this has been happening gradually for those of you who are with us through the whole pandemic issue, pre and post pandemic. You've seen the craziness in the car buying business, car selling business for that matter. And some of you paid exorbitant prices for cars during this period because you had to have a car, or maybe you just wanted a car so bad you paid, and you might have paid 4 or 5 or even more thousands of dollars over sticker price. The good news is that the microchip shortage is not an issue. The supply chain is not as big an issue, I should say. The inventories are building considerably. Car dealers are coming back to where they were pre-pandemic, where they had too many cars. And there are a lot of makes. One reason I was thinking about that, Doug who called from Fort Lauderdale, he's got a Lincoln Town Car. If you want to buy a Lincoln today, a Lincoln Town Car, they're stacking up on the lots and the dealers can't get rid of them. So maybe, Doug, if you're listening, if you're in the market for another car, if you like Lincoln Town Car, you can buy one. And if you listen to the show, if you look at our blog and you follow our tips on how to be careful, you can come up with a really good price with competitive bids. By getting competitive bids from various Lincoln dealers, you can get a very, very good price. And the same thing applies to a lot of mocks. Honda and Toyota are the exceptions. Honda and Toyota are doing very well right now, and their inventories are not as high as most of the other manufacturers. So if you've been hiding out, waiting for the market to get right, the market is right, but you still have to get the competitive bids, and you have to follow the advice that you see at Earl and Cars. Rick?
I saw an interesting report yesterday that said that the new Dodge Charger, their new two-door model, there's a potential there for them to have a 400-day supply of those cars. That if they stop building them right now, they would still have enough cars to sell them for 400 days.
Yeah, another
At the rate
example
they're
is
selling.
the F-150 electric. Ford can't get rid of them. I mean, they
No
got
surprise.
a warehouse. The manufacturers are starting to get nervous, and Ford, for example, is going to this new, what they call stair-step incentives, which is this crazy program that throws pricing into disarray. The dealers don't know what to price the car at. The buyer doesn't know what to buy the car at. It's a chaotic, old school. I go back to pre-pandemic when you could buy a car at the end of the month for thousands of dollars less than you could buy it for at the beginning of the month because of the old way cars were sold. Well, we're getting back to that way, folks. And if you use that to your advantage, you could get a heck of a price on a newer used car today.
Great information. I'm going to give out that number again. Jot this number down. You may need it throughout the show. And also the text number 877-960-9960. And you can also text us at 772-497-6530. You'll need that text number if you want to vote on our mystery shop. Our mystery shopping report comes from Agent Lightning, and I will repeat what she said later in the show, which will surprise you. The mystery shop is of Massey Yardley CDJ Plantation. It is an interesting mystery shop. Also, we have Connie. Connie is our retriever, Black Labrador, that comes to us this week, the dog of the week, and we'll feature that at about 9:30. And as I said, we have an interesting show to get to. Back to Earl.
Yeah, and Big Dog Ranch Rescue, which Nancy just mentioned, our regular listeners know all about that. Big Dog Ranch Rescue is our charity, our pet charity. We have a book available called what's the name of my book? Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer.
Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer.
it's
I
on
know you were
Amazon.
just kidding.
It's on Amazon.
I'm going to interrupt you. You can think about what's in that book. So can I. Hey, we're going to go to John in Palm City. Good morning, John. Welcome.
Good morning. Earl gave some good news about the current car market, and I want to share good news. General Motors stopped sharing the data information on drivers' insurance. They were selling it to three major companies, LexisNexis, which is nothing to do with Lexus. They were selling it to RIT Solutions and Verisec. And they've been doing it since quite a few years, and it was exposed in 2022 by a New York Times article, and a Florida man started a class action suit, and some people had their insurance doubled, and kind of wise guy at General Motors, what they're giving you like free OnStar with a new vehicle that you buy. In the meantime, they were monitoring everything that with driving habits and selling it and making money on it.
Oh,
So
geez.
that's the good news. They stopped sharing this data with the private companies, and they were getting paid for.
Well, that was shocking. I read that too, John, and I was amazed that General Motors would do that type of thing. There are some manufacturers out there that it wouldn't surprise me, but the fact that they were secretly selling that information. Now, that information, they collect it, and if you are involved in an accident or something, then the evidence in the black box, they call it, is made available to the courts and to the lawyers, but that's a different story. But to sell it is really immoral. I was really disappointed in General Motors that they would do that.
Corporate America, selling everything they can. But I want to tell you, it goes further than that. I spoke to a woman, she's a widow. She lives here in Stewart, and she has an Escalade Cadillac, and she went to a wedding in Palm Beach, exclusive wedding, and she left the car, which is a long period, with a attendance, okay? And it turns out to be, she did her homework. She found out her insurance suddenly was almost doubled, and now we've all been raised in Florida, but this gets worse. It seems like the attendant that took the car to park it, the valet parking, was free, it was paid for by the wedding, must have taken that car and did some damage, or not physical damage, but did some spin-outs or whatever he did, acceleration, and that got recorded, and it was against that, but she was able to find out the exact time that it happened, and actually she couldn't prove it. But in the meantime, her insurance, just from that incident alone, not her fault, somebody else driving the car, a valet parking attendant, and it was against her on her insurance.
Well, that's very interesting. So, what a perfect way to, every now and then you get a ding or something on your car and you swear you didn't do it, but you had a valet parked or something like that. So that would be recorded in the black box, and at your request, the owner can request that information, or was it the insurance company that had to request the information?
Yes.
Insurance company. Okay, I got it. Yeah.
I'm always against. Every time I have valet parking, I do something very smart. I take care of the guy and I give him cash. And I said to him, "Listen, I'm going to park the car myself. Just show me where I should go." And it works every time because I don't trust. Some valet parking, they actually hire security, so the security can check on the valet parking guys.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so it's interesting. But thank God GM have stopped this cold. No more sharing data on drivers.
Good information, John. I really appreciate the call.
All right, guys.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you for taking my call.
Rick, you said?
Yeah, that information by Toyota is known as record of behavior. And anytime that you go wide open throttle or a hard braking or a hard high-speed steering, say you're in a parking lot, you turn really quick, even just someone out driving in a totally empty road, the car records every single incident of that, and every time it records it, this is all being uploaded to the cloud, and the car manufacturers are able to see all this information. Now they're tabulating it, collecting it, and like he was saying, some of them were selling it, and they have been caught.
Yeah. Record of behavior on I-95.
Yep.
That's what I want to see. Ladies and gentlemen, that number is 877-960-9960, and you can text us at 772-497-6530. And don't forget, youranonymousfeedback.com. Ladies, do you have a car purchasing or servicing experience that you'd like to share with us? And you would be helping others who are listening. Give us a call, and you can win yourself $50 this morning. $50 for the first two new lady callers. 877-960-9960. Now back to the recovering car dealer.
And don't forget our anonymous feedback number. We have it's actually a website, and it's youranonymousfeedback.com, youranonymous feedback.com. And a lot of people use it just for normal comments and suggestions. But if you have something you don't want, we're just talking about privacy, and people value their privacy. So if you just like to make a comment, say something that we don't know who you are or where you're from or anything like that, you feel freer sometimes to speak. And we'd love to have that. We keep track of that. We get several of those. We use a website called Incognito. It's used by a lot of blue chip companies around the country that like to hear candid remarks from their employees or candid remarks from their customers. And when people speak freely, oftentimes you get the truth. Of course, sometimes you don't get the truth, but at least the opportunity to say anything you want, the fear is taken out when it's not known. So youranonymousfeedback.com.
And Incognito. Earl was mentioning earlier when I spoke about Connie, our Labrador retriever. He was mentioning his book. And the reason he was mentioning his book, Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, was that our relationship with Big Dog Ranch goes, well, our reach is pretty far. And that includes the book that you can purchase either on Amazon or you can go to Earl on Cars. And it is Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. All proceeds go to Big Dog Ranch. Thank you. Feed that dog, would you? At any rate, Connie is so precious. Wait until you see the video of Connie at about 9:30. That is Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, and you can find that book on Amazon. We are going to go to Frank from Jupiter Farms. Good morning, Frank.
Well, good morning. Good morning to you all. It's always a pleasure waking up and hearing your show.
Well, thank you.
Thank you,
it's a nice
Frank.
way to start Saturday. And did Earl happen to see the little cartoon I sent him about bacon the other day?
I've got that in the messages. I was going to message that over to Earl real soon here.
Okay, no problem. I thought it was ironic that you like bacon with chocolate. It's a unique combination.
I thought you were talking about me with my bacon and how I was busted out on the sunrise. But that's another show.
Oh, no.
Rick's
I didn't hear about that.
Rick's going to show Earl your comment about bacon. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I just saw the picture.
Oh, did you?
Folks, for those of you listening, it's an egg, a couple of slices of toast, a cup of coffee,
About 20
and
pounds
a
of bacon.
huge plate of bacon, and one of those little pew lead throwing devices.
And Frank, now that we have, because of Earl, he purchased a toaster oven. Well, it's a little more elaborate than that, but he had his first taste of bacon cooked in that oven. And, well, you're very lucky that you're not watching him eat bacon right now, because he loved that bacon that was cooked a whole different way.
Wow, that's interesting. We'll have to explore that. But I've been in your dealership a couple times this last week.
We heard.
I got my we saw Patty, and we're still trying to figure out how to get my name off that title for. It's just my son's name for it, but we're still working on that. I appreciate the help, and we'll see how that progresses.
I'll follow up on that for you, Frank. I didn't realize we were still struggling with that, but I don't see why it should be a problem, but I'll look into it.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. And again, I think about the time, like we used to go every Friday morning for a prayer breakfast at Lighthouse Diner, and that's when I started meeting a few of your police officers from your community there, which is not a very big police force, but it was an interesting bunch of folks. So anyway, with that, I better let you get back to other folks, but you all have a really nice weekend. And
thank you, Frank. Same to you, my friend.
Enjoy totality. Have a great weekend, Frank.
Absolutely.
Our number here is 877-960-9960, and you can text us at 772-497-6530. Now back to the recovering car dealer.
We were just talking about anonymous feedback, and that's our website. You can go to youranonymousfeedback.com, and if you'd like to say something or suggest something or ask a question, and we don't want you to know who you are, we will read these. And I'm going to read one right now that came in just recently. You can, of course, identify yourself if you want to, but the idea is not to have to. Here's the anonymous feedback. I bought both of the last two vehicles using the Costco program. We talk about the Costco program a lot here. That's our number one recommended way to buy a new car without being ripped off. If you're a Costco member, in fact, if you're not a Costco member, we advise you to join Costco for $65. It's an annual membership, and it's well worth it because you get to save a lot of money buying a car through the Costco auto buying program. Going on with the anonymous feedback, obviously I knew going in the dealer wasn't going to make a deal without making any profit. And that's okay because I feel I got a nice deal both times. I found on both occasions, after doing a lot of research in my local area with using Edmunds and the Kelley Blue Book and others, those are both good sources, by the way, that I got a very fair deal and actually paid less than others in my area paid for the same vehicle. A fair deal is fine with me. So, you car dealers out there who are listening to these calls and comments, nobody's trying to take the bread off your table, the money out of your pocket. We want you to make a profit. We want you to have a profitable business, but we just don't want to be gouged. And that's what the hue and cry is all about, just a fair price. So the Costco auto buying program we recommend, and the Costco contract says with the dealer that you will sell any car on your lot, any car that you sell must be at a lower price. They don't tell you how much lower. It could be $1 or $100 or $1,000, but it has to be lower than the lowest price that you would sell that car for or have sold that car for to anyone else. And they audit you. So if you can find, now I'm talking to you, all the listeners, if you can find a Costco approved dealership in your zip code, and you just go to Costco.com and you can go and talk to them in their auto buying program, they will tell you the surrounding Costco warehouses that are members of this auto buying program. And when you go to that dealer, you ask to see the Costco representative, and that's named on the Costco website. So that way you're dealing with Costco representative and not a salesman who says, I am a Costco representative, and he's really not. So you identify the Costco representative, and then you ask to see for the Costco price sheet. Costco requires that they have a price sheet that every car they have has the special Costco price on. And you verify that the price that the Costco representative gave you is the same price as on the price sheet. Now, by contract, that price is lower than that car has been sold to anybody else that dealer has sold that car to, that year, make, and model. Now, that's a pretty good deal. And usually it's considerably lower than just about anything else in the market. So there's a lesson to be learned. If you don't have a Costco warehouse near you, it might be worth the drive because Costco's all over the United States. And if you had to drive 50 miles, it might be worth the drive just for the benefit of the price. And you could do this online, by the way. And if you do it online, then all you have to do is pick up the car. Maybe they deliver the car to you. So Costco auto buying program, we highly recommend.
Yeah, great information for all of you out there. Talking about information, listen to this, guys. Indiana Department of Transportation is teaming up with Purdue University to install a stretch of highway to test wirelessly charging electric vehicles as they travel. Is that interesting? Construction is expected to begin this spring, and be completed by summer. And the work will entail removing the existing pavement and installing coil circuits and electronics, including inverters and transmitters. Wow, that should be very interesting. Our number here is 877-960-9960, and you can also text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go back to the phones, where we have our regular caller, Jersey Mike from West Palm Beach, and he really believes in Big Dog Ranch, and he is always adopting and, talking about the veterans program out there. Hi, Jersey Mike.
Hi, folks. Another great show. Love it. I really, really like it. And I'm going to.
Thanks, Jersey Mike. Thanks for tuning in every week.
I'm going out to Big Dog Ranch again today. I'm going to see if I can get lucky enough to get there before it disappears, because the last time I tried it, it didn't work. I got there and it was already gone. So I'm going to go see if I can get Connie today.
Oh, Connie is really a pretty one. She's just absolutely adorable.
How old is she?
She is, I think she's only about 8 months old.
Oh, she's a youngie. Okay, she's small.
She's eight months. To be exact, she's 8 months and 1 week.
Well, being a big dog, she's probably about the exact same size as Colette that I already went out there and got.
I bet you're right about that.
Okay, so let's get to cars. One thing you folks don't know is back in the day, because I'm an old guy, all right? I'm a motorhead. I've gone done this and done that and everything else. I used to have a 69 Corvette that I really worked over, took the heads off, took them to a racing shop, had them redone, and I put a cam in it, side pipes, I dynoed it out on the dynamometer to 490 horse. I could do 0 to 60 in 4.0 seconds with a stopwatch. So it was really a fast car. And I never took it out except for the weekends. And everybody that wanted to come up alongside me and race, I beat every single time. And I only took it out on the weekends because they see it and they'd want to race. We had different places we could go in North Jersey there, where they had like an entrance to the Garden State Parkway that was like long and straight, like it was longer than a quarter mile. And we used to do right there. All right. So anyway, what you guys don't know is, there was a time when I actually took a jug, a plastic jug, put it in my trunk, filled it with water. This is not on a Corvette. This was on a Camaro, okay? 327 Camaro. Standard car. It was all stock. It was in beautiful shape. And I went ahead and I put water in that container in the trunk. And I ran the line up, fished it through the interior of the car, then up and through the firewall and into the carburetor. I put a spray nozzle on it. Now, you could not use this when you were taking off and beginning to accelerate. But when the car had momentum, you're doing 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, going from North Jersey down to South Jersey, traveling on the Jersey Turnpike, the Garden State Parkway. I was able to get 38% more gas mileage by, believe it or not, spraying water into the combustion chambers.
You hear that, Rick?
Now, I'm sure you're spraying just tiny amounts.
Yeah, I had to fool with the nozzle several times before I got it right, because otherwise it would just flood it out.
The only thing that I can guess at is that you were probably cleaning out a lot of carbon and thereby making the car run more efficiently, which would improve your fuel economy in the long run.
Big time, yes.
Because
I saved myself about 3 gallons of gasoline to going down there. Gas was cheap back then. I mean, I was kind of foolish, but I wanted to see if I could do that, and I was able to figure it out, and it actually did work. And I don't know why they don't install hydrogen or water, which is H2O that makes hydrogen, in cars for better fuel economy from the car manufacturers.
Well, there's no, you don't get any hydrogen out of water. I know water has hydrogen, H2O, hydrogen, two molecules two atoms of hydrogen, but they're locked together, so it becomes an entirely different chemical substance. You can't.
Well, but that's
It's
true.
very, very hard
That's-
to separate the hydrogen. It can be done,
no.
but you can't do it by spraying it into your engine.
No.
Well, wait. If you're in the combustion chamber on the compression stove coming up, the cylinder is coming up,
Yeah.
and then it fires. As that fires, that's going to split that molecule and release that hydrogen.
No, it won't.
No, I have to tell you, I have a degree in physics, and it's
If you know better than I, I'll take your word for it.
you have to use the hydrogen bomb. They finally figured out how to get the hydrogen out by separating the hydrogen, and the amount of energy that you have to put in to separate the hydrogen atom from the oxygen atom in water. There's so much energy there that you're going to.
I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to take a guess in physics. Maybe because the water is being. I had to fool with different nozzles, otherwise it wouldn't work. But when I finally got it down to a very fine mist, maybe what it does is it actually assists with the combustion of the gasoline, and so you get a better burn. Maybe, I don't know. I'm guessing.
Personally, what I would see is occurring now in a perfect world, a very perfect world, you have oxygen and hydrocarbon going into the combustion chamber. Hydrocarbon is your gasoline particles and oxygen. When those combust, when they combine together in combustion, now you have a change in your physical structure, and the output is now carbon dioxide and H2O, water. These are what you in a very perfect world, perfect combustion would be HC and O2 going into the chamber, and CO2 and H2O coming back out of the combustion chamber in the exhaust. That would be the perfect world combustion. By adding in extra H2O that is in a much more stable molecule, because hydrocarbon is not a very stable molecule. H2O is a much more stable molecule. What you're actually doing is the H2O is actually being vaporized into high temperature steam, and it's actually steam cleaning the inside of the cylinder.
That is fantastic information, Rick. We have 4 phone calls on the.
Can I ask one last question? One last question, please, real quick. I have a good friend, who has a BMW X3, a 2018 with 60,000 miles on it. He's put into it in repairs from a local dealer down here. Your Lightning shopper should go there and check it out on Military Trail here in West Palm Beach, where they sell sports cars and other exotic cars. I don't remember the name of the dealership, but what has happened is he's put $11,800 of his money into that car, never gotten reimbursed for it in any way. And what they're basically doing is robbing this man, because when he goes there, they don't only fix what's wrong, they ruin, or they do other things to the engine or the compartment to make him come back for more repairs. And he's been foolish enough to do that. Can you go into looking as a Lightning inspector at that location?
Say that again.
Is it possible your Lightning inspector may go there?
Agent undercover. Yeah. We should do some service inspections. That's a possibility. Text us the information.
I will
on
do that. And one last quick question. Does it matter if I lease a brand new Subaru in South Florida? You always advise don't buy anything in South Florida. Mm-hmm. Would that make any difference whatsoever? Because I got my eyeball on the Subaru Outback here locally.
Well, yeah, as long as you shop and compare. As long as you shop and compare, I mean, good deals can be had in South Florida. It's just a lot harder. I mean, if you can go elsewhere, it's just a lot easier task. But you get a really good price if you really mind your P's and Q's.
Well, thank you so much for answering all my questions. You got a great show. Keep up the good work. You're doing a big service for the general public out there.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that.
Okay, we're going to go to Boynton. We're going to go to Roadrunner Steve.
Me.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I was listening to the part about the Costco deal.
Yeah.
And when Earl said you would go to the dealer and ask for the Costco dealer, and the salesman would say, "Oh, I'm the Costco dealer,"
Yep.
but he's lying.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you go to Costco, don't they give you or reference a name to speak to
Yes.
at the dealership?
Yes, they do. That's the reason you go to Costco first, and you ask for. And on the Costco website, when you give them your zip code, they'll tell you the names of the Costco representatives at that dealership.
Okay, so it's up to the customer to ask for that, or else,
Yeah.
he'll go in there blind.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You're probably better off to call and say, "Look, I just been on the Costco website. You have a Costco representative. His name is Bill Jones. I'd like to come and speak to Bill Jones. Will he be working tomorrow afternoon?" Or get his schedule and make an appointment to see the Costco representative. That way, you're far less likely to be scammed by just the average salesperson claiming to be the Costco guy.
Okay, the other thing is the guy with the water in the spraying into the carburetor.
Yeah.
Okay, well, back in the day, remember Grandpa Munster? He invented a pill to turn water into gasoline. Okay? With that. So I started laughing when he brought that up. So that was the only thing with that.
Well,
And
yeah.
here's something I heard the other day, speaking of car dealerships and crooks. Like oil in water, the truth shall rise to the surface.
Thanks
Very
so much,
good.
Steve.
Thank you, Roadrunner.
We appreciate your call.
The Charlie Chan, the Dark Alibi.
There you go. Okay,
Thank you.
ladies, do you have a car purchasing or servicing experience you'd be willing to share with us? Please give us a call toll free. First two ladies, new ladies, that you can win yourself $50 this morning, 877-960-9960. We're going to go to Howard. Good morning, Howard. Welcome.
You there, Howard?
Yeah, right. I'm here. Okay, my question is the next Camry coming out, 2025.
Yeah.
I have no idea, and if it's going to be the exact same thing. I know it's a hybrid, but will it be the same as the 2024 hybrid, or will it be, will it be different? Will there be more innovations, or do you have that information now?
Well, it depends on, if you talk about Toyotas, Toyota has already got a pretty sophisticated hybrid. So I think some of the other manufacturers are playing catch up, but you won't see any major breakthrough in hybrid in 1 year. I think that if you compare the Prius that we have today with the Prius of 25 years ago, they're night and day. I mean, they just made some incredible improvements in terms of battery life and efficiency and fuel economy and everything. So it's if you buy a hybrid today, especially with a hybrid manufacturer that's been doing it for a while, you're really getting about the best product you can buy. And that's the reason that a lot of people are saying that Toyota was smarter than we thought they were when they kind of nixed on the EV idea. We're gonna put the EV on the back burner and go with a hybrid as a transition until we can finally build a really good EV. Right now, if you buy an all-electric vehicle, you're buying it with typical bugs and problems that any technology has when they first get started. So Toyota said, hey, I'll sell you an EV, but it's not 100% EV, and it's the best one on the market, and that's the reason that they're just absolutely doing an incredible job today. They're Honda and Toyota both are doing an incredible job.
Well, do you think when eventually we're going to get to the point where all cars will be EV?
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, there's no question. No, anybody that is serious and educated in this whole process is when an EV, all-electric vehicle is finally near perfection, it's going to be the total answer. And in fact, it isn't just all EV. What you're going to have is you're going to have an all EV autonomous car. People don't believe that. It sounds too crazy today. but that's what it will be. And people will not own the cars, they will timeshare. Because, think about it. You go out and you spend $50,000 on a new car, and you only drive it about 25% of the time. Now, what if you could buy that $50,000 car for $15,000 or $16,000, and you only use it 25% of the time? Let somebody else use it the other 75% of the time. So there's no sense in you driving a car once the technology is perfected, because the autonomous driving will be far safer than the human. But we can't visualize that today. We can't see it, feel it, smell it. It just doesn't sound logical. And there are a lot of people out right now there listening to me say, Earl's crazy. That's not going to happen. They're never going to happen. But in 25 years, there won't be a combustion engine car on the road unless it's an antique, and the collectors will have them. And but for driving, it'll be all EV, all autonomous.
What about the infrastructure? How are you going to get the infrastructure and get rid of the gas stations? And how will that work?
That's it. You're exactly right. That's the reason everything is going so slow. Now, the infrastructure is going to be a whole lot different than what we're talking about. We're talking about, you heard Nancy earlier in the show talking about in Indiana, they put in a highway that you can drive on and automatically charges your car. So you're talking about a huge infrastructure change to take all the highways in the United States and convert them into charging stations for your car. So you get on I-95 here in Florida and Miami, and you drive to Jacksonville, and you're on an EV. When you get to Jacksonville, you got a full charge because you've been charging your car all the way from Miami.
And listen, to interrupt you and Howard, I think that, Rick, did you see Donovan's comment to my comment about the building?
About Michigan?
Yeah, about Michigan and how it's already...
Michigan's been testing an electrified road, but Sweden has had an operational electrified highway, one of them, for about 3 to 4 years now.
Yeah, but Michigan, getting back to Michigan, when was that? When did they begin that work?
A couple of years ago.
Okay, so there you go, Howard. We have Michigan. Rick mentioned Sweden. We've got Indiana. That is expected to start in the spring and be completed by summer. So we are moving forward as far as these roads are concerned.
Great information. Thank you very much. Very informative, and have a good day.
Thank you, Howard. Ladies, $50 for you this morning for the first two new lady callers, 877-960-9960. Give us a call. You can win yourself $50. We're going to go back to the phones, and we're going to talk to Paul, who is calling us from Denver. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, folks. Hey, regarding the data privacy issues in cars and then in general, I wanted to provide some information. So Subaru, and I imagine other manufacturers as well, has an option on there. You can call their national line, and they'll direct you to, they could send you a form, email it to you, that you could fill out. Doesn't take very long. Actually, it's online. It's just a matter of finding it online. Might be easier just to call them to opt out. So they will not. And I did it 2 weeks ago. I opted out of them collecting any information, and they can collect it, but they can't share it or sell it anywhere. And then I also am getting a copy of all the information they've already collected. And then I've asked them to delete it. So they have those three specific options available to you.
Oh.
I'm guessing that the other manufacturers, I certainly don't know about Toyota because I have a few Subarus. So that's that one piece. So I suggest that people who are interested in that kind of thing,
yeah, that's a Subaru. They're very progressive. I'm always impressed with not only the way Subaru builds cars, the way they sell cars, and now they really respect their customers. That's if you heard earlier in the show, General Motors just got sued and had to pay a lot of money out because they were selling this data unbeknownst to the people that actually the data was about. So there's a difference between the moral imperative of Subaru and General Motors right there.
Well, Subaru was doing it, but they didn't, and weren't, and most people didn't know about it.
Oh, so they changed their. Oh, I see.
They just provided an option.
Ah.
Now that you could opt out. Now, I don't know how long that option existed. I just found out about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the other piece for general information regarding it. So, obviously, one of the vendors that they sell it to was LexisNexis, as was previously mentioned, one of the largest data brokers in the world. So, LexisNexis, you could opt out of LexisNexis too, and I've done that. Mm-hmm. So similarly, you can go online to the LexisNexis data site, and for free. I mean, this is all for free. I opted out of them collecting it or sharing it, I should say, selling it, sharing it for free, whatever. They don't do anything for free. Selling it, I've asked them to. Again, there's an option of them sending me, making available to me a copy of all the data, so you can correct it or just review it to see who they provide, what it is, and who they provided it to, and then you could ask them to delete it. You also have an option on LexisNexis to freeze your profile, your account. So, and when I say account, it's not something I've ever signed up for. They just collect it from Subaru, Toyota, and whoever else. But that freezes a lot more than just the automobile. That freezes everybody, and everybody in the world basically uses LexisNexis. The attorneys, the courts, a lot of landlords, et cetera, et cetera. So that's information. Again, it's a lost cause. It's not like first of all, I don't have anything to hide, but I respect my privacy. I want my privacy. I cannot get 100%. There's no way in this world that ship has sailed. But at least there's some things that make it a little more difficult for folks who want to scam you or just use your data to bombard you with ads that you're not really interested in.
Yeah, that's good. That's good information. I drive a Tesla. Nancy and I have a Tesla Plaid, and we opted in because and we were given that option. But with the Tesla, they record with cameras everything that the car does, and this is on the autonomous train where eventually you'll have a total autonomous driving, and they collect millions and millions of videos of every imaginable driving situation that you can find, whether it's heavy traffic, highway driving, and picture this data, cellular data, being made available to determine what is safe and what is unsafe driving. So there is really a very strong, positive, good thing about data gathering and sharing in terms of the overall safety that we would have with our cars in the future. The autonomous driving by Tesla really took a quantum leap forward. Instead of having to design the autonomous driving by computer code, they were able to take the cellular examples of real drivers. They actually separated out the drivers, the good drivers from the bad drivers, used the good drivers' video data and put it into their autonomous program. So there's arguments to be made on both sides of the privacy thing.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with them using it internally to improve their product and services. My issue is that information is there then being sold in detail. In other words, with your name associated with it to insurance companies and what have you. Tesla using it to figure out how do we design the software, make the software and hardware better, and we're comparing good and bad drivers, safe and unsafe driving. habits, that's fine. I don't have any problem with Subaru or anybody else doing that. That's quality control, it's quality assurance, and good product and service development. But they don't have the right, without you signing it off on it, on selling it to. That's something entirely different, and then specifically with your identifiable information on it. And in other words, if they wanted to provide it for the benefit of humankind, whatever, as an aggregate information without your ID, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But when they were doing it, and what GM was doing, it was selling it with your ID, which is what was the value for people to purchase it. That's the issue. And I don't know, have you looked at what Toyota has, whether Toyota has an option to opt out on collecting and selling?
I believe, I don't believe, I think they have an option on some data. Rick, maybe you can answer this. With Toyota, if I buy a new Toyota today, I'm going to buy a new Camry. Is there anything I can communicate to Toyota in terms of the data they gather? Or is my understanding is that's pretty much up to them?
Most of it is through if you're going to opt out on anything, is through the Toyota app that you would have connected to your car.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think Toyota's even been one of them that they've looked at for selling that data. I don't think they've been doing that.
Yeah, they're not selling it, but they're gathering the data for their own research and being able to see how the entire worldwide fleet of Toyotas, they know about performance and braking and speed and the rest of it. So I see both sides of it. I see the privacy end of it, and I also see the manufacturer's end of it. Selling it is a whole different story. If I gather data from a product that I sell you, and then I sell it to a third party without even telling you, that's immoral in my opinion.
All right, thank you. I'll take a look at Toyota and see what they're doing, what they're not doing. I really don't know. I'm ignorant on that. Plead ignorance. I'll take a look at it. Hopefully, they're not sharing that information outside of their own internal.
Yeah, I'll check it out too, Paul. Thanks very much for the call.
Thank you.
Very interesting.
Thanks, Paul. Our number here is 877-960-9960. Our text number is 772-497-6530. Don't forget, ladies, $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Gee, I think we have Rick on overload this morning. He not only has YouTubers and Facebook and texters, and now he's got my X screen. I'm not feeling too good.
Well, we're going to go to John in West Palm Beach.
Morning, John.
You
How
there,
are
John?
you this morning?
Yo, John. Maybe John.
Hello, John.
You're on, John. Can we help you?
Call.
Give us a call back, John.
Yeah, call back. I'm sorry we probably kept you on hold too long. We apologize.
We'll switch over and try Tony in Georgia. Hello, Tony.
Hey, hi, Tony.
How you doing? I've been watching your show for a few years. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
I got a gripe though,
boy.
dealing with the service department.
Uh-huh.
I took my Honda Odyssey into the local dealer here for the regular 50,000 mile kind of checkup, the changing of the fluid, the cabin filter. I think they even went into the reaxle of transmission fluid or something. And I got a bill for $685. About a day later, I'm driving down the road, and I need to clean my windshield, and I pull the little button. I get 2 squirts, and they didn't fill the tank for the windshield wiper.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, I'm really great, okay, because I'm 80 years old. I'll be 81 in a week. I'm 80 years old. I don't have the strength after COVID and stuff to open the hood and all of that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And I know you can't go back to the service department, and watch the guys do the work and all of that. But since you're in the business, is there any type of thing? Okay, I mean, I'd like you to make a comment about it. I don't think it's an uncommon problem.
No, it's you're talking to a car dealer, and I have a Toyota dealership in North Palm Beach, Florida. And so as the advantage I have of being a consumer advocate, which is what we do on this show, and also being a dealer, I can compare myself. And we have the same problem. I'd be less than honest if I didn't admit that I get complaints on exactly what you just said. I have probably on the larger size dealership. We have about 160 employees. Our service department has we have well over 100 people coming every day with appointments, some without appointments, and they have their factory recommended maintenance and sometimes other maintenance done on their cars. So we've got, how many techs do we have, Rick? Would you say?
We're running about 30 to 35 techs right now, counting all our oil changers.
So 30 technicians, and we have a lot of other people, the service department. So you come in there and you bring your car, and your car goes through several hands. You're talking about a lubrication guy. You're talking about a wheel guy. You're talking about a engine repair. Everything is a specialty today, and everybody's in a hurry. And then the car gets ready, and hopefully we have time to wash it for you, and you pick it up, and lo and behold, I get the call, and I say, boy, guess what? I came in to have my tires rotated balanced, and I put a chalk mark on them, and you never touch the tires, or I get calls like that, and sometimes we're guilty. So, yes, it does happen, and it will happen. My only advice to you is find a service advisor in the Honda dealership you go to that introduce yourself, get his cell phone number, get his name, address, get to know the guy. And when you come back, work with the same guy and go over the list that you want to have done and say, do me a favor, Johnny, whatever his name is, and will you check to see this work is done? Will you check with the lube guy, check with they washed the car like they said they were going to? And the more of a personal relationship you can develop with the dealership that you deal with, the more likely that it won't happen. But you're always going to have this problem. Service departments are crazy places to go, and nobody's happy to be there, and everybody's in a hurry to get out. So those things do happen. Rick is waving at me.
Yeah, one point I'd like to make is the technician that was working on your car dropped the ball, and you should at least call back and advise them, let them know, hey, yeah, this did happen, because he may be a young guy that has only been there a couple weeks and was forgetful. He may just need a little additional training. And one of the things that we would like to do in our shop is if we find out that one of our techs is missing something like that, we take them aside, we give them the additional training, and we encourage them to make sure they double check everything to be sure it's right. Because my motto that I've always had is every single car that I work on, my wife or my daughter or my mother was going to be driving that car out on the highway. And if I tell these young techs to picture that car that way, it makes them have a personal connection, and they try to double check themselves and do right. But they do need to have that proper training, and it should be corrected.
Yeah, well, but the point is, Tony, this is going to happen, and you just have to live with it. It's part of service departments. If you have somebody that you know, I don't get complaints from customers that deal with a service advisor that they're regularly dealing with. My complaints I get when they came in, they get maybe the first time in, or they get a different service advisor every time they come in. That creates a problem. But my best advice is develop a relationship with the person you're having the car inspected by. They should check the car too before it goes back to you, especially when it has to do with fixing a problem. You should road test the car with the technician or with the service advisor to verify that it's been fixed. But I don't blame you for being upset.
In closing, it really destroyed my confidence in other things being completed. I understand exactly what you're saying, and the reason I called in is to get you to say what you're saying. However, I'm in my 80s now, and it's really destroyed my confidence, etc. I don't want to go back to the dealer anymore for, a 5-gallon can of washer fluid.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, you're right about that, Tony. I'm in my 80s, and you just question things after a while, and your car is very important to you. And a mechanic, the tech's service, it's very difficult to build a relationship with them, and I understand completely what you're talking about. But go back, give them another.
I will.
Give them another chance. Yeah, I figured you would, and give them another chance. And it's always good to share your last experience with your next experience.
Well, I figure there are other people out there like me, and we need a decent response.
Well, there's a lot of people out there like you that won't even say anything. So for that, we thank you for your call.
Okay. Au revoir. Adios.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Ladies, $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960. Let's go to Rick. He is on overload this morning. He's taking care of some YouTubers, Facebook. He's doing it all over there.
Yep.
And I have my X screen back. Thanks, guys, for taking care of me.
We are going to start right out with Anne Marie's opening text. And she says, "Good morning. Wow, what a week we're having. First, it was the 7.4 earthquake in Taiwan on Wednesday. That was followed by a 4.8 magnitude earthquake about 50 miles outside of New York City on Friday. I live on the East Coast, and I've never considered..."
Hey, how about Anne Marie? Before the earthquake in New York, how about the night before, California?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
"I've never considered what it's like to drive during an earthquake until I saw a dash cam video of a big bus and other vehicles in the road wobbling side to side in Taiwan.
That'll get your attention.
If you get caught in an earthquake while driving, the U.S. Geological Survey says move out of traffic, stop your car away from any overpasses, light posts, or trees. If you're on a bridge, do not stop on the bridge. Pull off the side of the road, set the parking brake, and stay in the car until the shaking stops. Afterwards,
do you pray?
I guarantee anybody will be. Afterwards, you can continue driving, or if you can, proceed carefully, watching out for fallen debris and cracked or shifted pavement. Myself, if I was on an area that I thought was solid, I'm not moving for a while because you don't know what sinkholes might open up.
There you go.
If a power line falls on or near your car, do not get out of the car. Now, this is great info, even if you're just in a normal car crash and you get a power line down that you see. Do not touch anything metal. Call 911 and wait for help to arrive. If you're driving on a coastal road, tune into local radio stations for possible tsunami warnings and head inland. If severe shaking lasts for 20 seconds or more, move inland or get to land that is higher than 100 feet above sea level. Folks in Florida, just hope you got your water wings because, seek safety in an elevated open area. On Monday, a wide swath of the U.S. will be in the path of the eclipse. It's going to get dark even if it's cloudy, so please turn your headlights on if you have to drive. If you're planning to watch the eclipse, please find a safe place to park and use the special eclipse glasses to watch the spectacle. Do not drive with the eclipse glasses on because they're too dark to see anything while driving. Whether we're facing earthquakes or an eclipse or just the run-of-the-mill heavy traffic, please drive safely. Do you have any other suggestions? No, except, folks, those...
If I had a retail store and I was in an area of the total eclipse, I would want to be sure to have everything locked up and guards around, because my thinking is everyone's going to be looking at the eclipse, and the crooks are going to be robbing my store. So I'm just thinking.
That's certainly possible.
I'm thinking as a banker or a retail establishment, I'd be very careful about my merchandise during the eclipse.
Great information, guys.
I can just imagine the places having drink specials and food specials at all the bars and parties.
We're going to go back to the phones. We are going to talk to Ron in West Palm Beach. Good morning, Ron.
You there, Ron?
Are you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Jersey Mike's friend. He called nightmare that I don't even know where to start. Okay, I'll tell you where it starts. I guess is what kind of car it is. It's a 2018 BMW. It had 52,000 miles on it as of last June 1st when I bought it. And since then, everything was fine until I got a coolant leak. And I'm going to tell you all this like next week when I get all my stuff together. And that's when I'm going to spit out the names, because I don't, on the places that I took it and who's doing the work and who's been doing the work, after I see what they're going to do for me. And I promise I'll call you back next week, but let's just see what's going to happen. I'll tell who it is and everything.
Great.
But I paid over thousands and thousands of dollars. First of all, they replaced the water pump. I'm looking at that right now. That was $14.85. Okay, that was let's see, on 1010. Okay, and then that wasn't it. That wasn't the problem with the water pump. It was the adapter hose, and it's like maybe a 10 degree or 20 degree. It looks like a fiberglass connection and like a snap connection, and then 3 bolts on it with an O-ring. And they replaced that, and that was $2,000. Okay, all right. So anyway, I drove it a little bit, and it just started cutting out. So they ended up took it back to them, and got it back there, and they told me it was just the battery, replace it. So the test it was 212, and I'm not going to do the change. And then the battery replacement was 534. You should be writing all these down because I'm actually scared too.
Over $700 to replace a battery?
Yes. Yes. Okay. And now, after that didn't really work. Okay. It started doing the same thing again. All right. So they said, okay, Ron, we gotta test it some more. And they put the replace car access module. Okay. That was to a tune of $1,539. That's your car access. That's your CAS. I guess it has a lot to do with the security. So that actually had to come from Germany. Okay. Yes. So that's to a tune of $1,539, and to software update on it. Okay. After that was $587. That's after the replace the access module. Which then it wasn't that. They told me it was the integrated control module. Sorry, Ron, it wasn't that. It's the integrated control module. That wasn't it. So, all right, it's still doing the same thing. So this is with the computer stuff. So now, hang on, Mike. So now I'm going. Now this is why I'm not going to say anything right yet until I get all my stuff ducks in a row. Okay. And
what's the grand total of all
I never added it. You want to go back through it because I'm too scared.
It sounds to me like you just paid for a Toyota Camry to fix your BMW.
Yes,
oh my gosh!
Now they went and told me that it's water damage on the whole computer. Okay, so my insurance actually paid for some of this. Okay, but the bill to that was $2,808. And wait a minute,
and then I paid $250 for that's the oil change and stuff. So forget that. That was just an oil change and tune up. And so just forget the $250. That's nothing. That's like that doesn't even count. Oh, and then the other one is $5,246 for the computer.
Oh my gosh,
Ron, hey, who have you spoken to at this repair? It's an independent repair facility, I presume. What? Not a dealer.
Yes, it is. It's right on Military Trail, right off of south of Military. It's just south of Okeechobee on Military on the right hand side.
Are you dealing with the manager or the owner?
No.
Yeah. I think my advice, the first thing you have to do is what's happened here is just totally irresponsible on their part, and you pouring good money after bad money, and the vehicle still isn't fixed. So they're clearly at fault. They don't know what they're doing. You need to get to the top guy. Now, if the top guy isn't going to help you, then you have to go to the outside. I would start with the Department of Motor Vehicles. Do they sell BMWs or just repair BMWs?
Right.
the place I'm.
Do they have a license to sell cars? The reason I ask is that
I believe they do. Yes, they do. They do sell cars.
Yeah, the
And what
department.
I'm saying-
The reason I ask is the Department of Motor Vehicles has the greatest punch when it comes to getting a dealership, independent or otherwise, back on track, because they can yank their license. The Department of Motor Vehicles can put this BMW facility out of business if they don't do the right thing. They have a responsibility to deal honestly with the public. So if you file a complaint with the Department of Motor Vehicles, they will go to the owner of that establishment and they will say, make this right. If these charges are accurate, you must make them right, and they have a list of, they can fine them, they can suspend their license, or they can revoke their license. So of all the, you could go to a lawyer too, but a lawyer's going to charge you a lot of money, and you might get it back and then some, but with the Department of Motor Vehicles, it doesn't cost you anything to fill out a complaint and file that complaint with them. They will go directly to the owner, and at least you start the ball rolling with that.
Is this a place called Foreign Affairs Auto?
Oh, oh boy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, we've all heard of them.
Yeah, I would follow Earl's advice. They are simply guessing. They're basically doing what's called, they're pulling the lanyard on the parts cannon. They're simply throwing parts at your car, one after another, to try to figure out what's somebody is not diagnosing your car to try to figure out what's going on. They're simply throwing parts at it to hoping that something will fix it. You're not getting diagnosed there. You're just getting try this, and they're just sucking your wallet dry for no reason. Wow. You're basically just getting ripped off, big time.
Yeah. Well, I'm not done. I'm not done yet. Now, after the water coolant leak was fixed with that elbow, and there was nothing wrong with the water pump. There wasn't. It was still, how it looks like a horse pee in that round tube, that round ball that's up there by the radiator. That was running super hard. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
Like you said, I believe you 100%. And right now, it's back over there. Okay? It started, now it's leaking oil or coolant from the turbo and also from the oil cooler.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, now they want $4,700 to fix it now.
How much?
On top of everything.
How much?
My answer would be no. I would be either take it over to Bremen BMW, the dealership, or I would consider there is a place on US 1 I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's,
we've already advised him to go to the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Yeah.
If you do this, before you do anything, go to the DMV, get the complaint application, fill it out, and file it. And then you can. I know you want to get the BMW fixed, but you need to get this done first, because once they get that complaint, you might find out that they will snap to attention and make things right.
yeah.
Ron, that is major, and I'm sorry to cut you off right now, and I certainly hope that you'll call next week. But this form to fill out is first and foremost.
Okay.
And please give us a call next week. Sorry to cut you
will.
off.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, so it's back over there as we speak. So yes, all right. I'll call you. I will call you back next week. I promise.
Okay.
And I'll let you know how things go.
We'll be waiting for your call, Ron. Okay, folks. At the by the clock here, I see that we are going to go to our dog of the week, and might I remind you that the dog of the week, the registration fees are paid for. And they're paid for by us, and that's $200. And you can also pick up Earl's book. And the reason I mention this before I even mention our dog of the week is that Earl's book, Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, all proceeds go to Big Dog Ranch, and it is a major help with their cause out there at Big Dog Ranch. Again, the registration fees are also paid for, $200. So we have Connie, and Connie is 8 months and 1 week, and she is most adorable. She's just about 30 pounds, I think, and she'll get between that and 59 pounds. And she's, they call her an absolutely adorable pup with an uplifting rescue story. One of the last two of her siblings to find a home. Connie and her devoted mom were rescued from a property by a kind-hearted individual and brought to Big Dog Ranch Rescue, ensuring their safety and a chance at a happy future. Connie's personality is incredibly sweet, radiating love and playfulness in every interaction. She is very lively gal, but settles down after a few joyful moments of attention with interaction with humans. Always ready for a warm embrace. So, and she loves to snuggle. So we're going to take a look at the video from Big Dog Ranch, and Jonathan will pull that up right now.
Hi, my name is Susan, and I'm here at Big Dog Ranch Rescue, and I just wanted to introduce our puppy here, Connie. Connie is an 8-month-old Labrador Retriever mix. She obviously young, very playful. She came here as a young puppy with her siblings, and she's one of the last ones to get adopted. She's looking for a family of her own. As a puppy, she's typical. She has energy. She just needs a family of her own. She has bunkmates, so she gets along with other dogs. Give her a chance.
That was a great video, and just like, who was it, Jonathan, that did that video?
That was Susan.
Susan. Like Susan said, give Connie a chance, and she's so adorable, and she is waiting. She's waiting for you right out there at Big Dog Ranch, and you can pull up all of the dogs that are up for adoption at bigdogranchrescue.org, and you can see all of the dogs that are available. We are going to go to our mystery shop, and I want to tell you that Agent Lightning did a fantastic job, and She had some, well, great, exciting. What else do you want to call it? It was just very profound. Her words that you don't hear too often. Now back to the recovery. Oh, that is Mystery Shop of Massey Yardley CDJ Plantation. And those words from Agent Lightning were, Earl?
Well, so let's let it be a surprise.
Okay.
We haven't had this happen before, so we'll just pop it in there when I go over the report. Which reminds me, I forgot to talk about the mystery shopping report at the beginning of the show. It's too late now, but if you haven't heard about our mystery shopping report, it's probably the highlight of the show. It's something that we do that's different than any other radio show or TV or streaming or anything else. We actually go undercover into a real live car dealership somewhere in the United States. We focus in Florida, obviously, but we also go outside of Florida from time to time, depending on where Agent Lightning's schedule brings her, because she's our full-time mystery shopper now. She has a family. She goes in with her husband or her children. It's a totally realistic, I hate to use the word tricking the dealer, but we do trick the dealer into believing that this person, Agent Lightning, is going to buy a car. And the amazing thing that sets us apart is that we actually relay the facts, the names, the places live on radio and live streaming on YouTube and Facebook, and the actual experience of if the dealership, and we name the dealership, breaks the law, we say the dealership broke the law. Now, you can't say that about a company or a person without getting sued unless it's the truth. And as I say oftentimes, that the truth is a perfect defense against libel and slander. So in 20-some-odd years, we've never been sued. So mystery shops are something special. We have our mystery shops archived at earlandcars.com. You can go to earlandcars.com and look at all the dealerships that we've mystery shopped. We have a recommended list and a list that we say don't buy from these dealers, and we grade them. We'll ask you to send your grade in if you're listening or watching right now about this particular dealership, which is, as Nancy just said, is Massey Yardley Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Plantation, Florida. That's in Fort Lauderdale area of South Florida. South Florida is the heart of the worst, most untransparent, I'll use the word crooked, car dealers in the world, right here in South Florida. So be prepared. Sometimes we get surprised, so maybe this will be a surprise. I will read the mystery shopping report as if I were Agent Lightning. I arrived in the late afternoon and was greeted immediately by a salesman who eagerly jumped out of his seat. He introduced himself as Gregory. He asked me what brought me in today and I replied that I was looking at a Dodge Charger online. He then asked, new or used? To which I responded, new. He mentioned for us to go outside and check out the inventory they had in stock. We walked out to the lot, and he pointed to an entire row of Dodge Chargers. Actually, before the show started, Rick Kearney and I were chatting, and he was telling me about how they're stacked up with Dodge Chargers. There's just a lot of Dodge Chargers to be had. 2 years ago, that wasn't the case. A year ago, that wasn't the case. So the good news for you, the buyers, are that the inventories are building. Among many makes and models of the Dodge Charger, they are plentiful. So here we go, and you will see how this goes. We walked out of the lot, pointed out entire rows. I said, Charger's telling me, take my pick. I explained that I preferred something on the lower end, price-wise, and that I really liked the blue one. Gregory informed me that it was a lower model price, and the color was called Frostbite Blue. I expressed my liking for it. He asked me if I wanted to get the keys. I agreed, excused himself, promising to be right back. While he was gone, I took a picture of the window sticker and the all-too-familiar addendum. So there we go. That practice is still in place. is despite the fact that we're post-pandemic. Denim sticker right next to the Monroney label. The official MSRP was $40,215, but the addendum added $2,799 for something called, and here's a list of products that they pre-installed. And this is what addendums are all about, for putting cheap products on the car and charging you exorbitant prices for those cheap products. This is called the Massey Yardley Advantage. It includes permaplate automotive protection, which is a paint sealant, a paint, we used, in the old days, we call that rust and dust. It's just a very inexpensive process that they try to make sound really, really good. They have a guide point systems vehicle protection. Sounds like a GPS sort of a thing. And of course, tire and wheel protection. These are all insurance products, which really, really don't insure the product very well at all. Road hazard and roadside assistance, and Mopar wheel locks. Now, if you knew what these products cost the dealer, you'd be shocked at how little. They're charging you $2,799. I'd be surprised if all these products lumped together cost more than $200 or $300. So it's more than a 10-time, 1,000% markup. Gregory returned with the keys, and off we went. As soon as I pulled onto State Road 7, that's a South Florida road here, Fort Lauderdale area, I noticed a warning on the screen indicating low tire pressure, with the right front tire pressure showing only 16 pounds.
Uh-oh.
Gregory asked me to pull over so we could check it out. We found a back street with minimal traffic. He inspected the tire. He assured me that it didn't look low, but suggested we not go for a drive, and asked for my thoughts. I expressed my liking for the car, requested a price. Back inside, Gregory gathered my information. Despite the slow computer, he remained courteous. After collecting the details, he excused himself to speak with his manager. Upon his return, he presented a sheet with the pricing, mentioning that the car included a protection package, but assured me they hadn't charged for it. So that'll give you an idea right there. Now, it probably, they priced the package at $2,799, so they're not going to charge you for it. So I assure you that was not a $27.99 discount, because, as I said before, the cost was probably $300, and they pre-installed it, so they did lose whatever small amount of money they spent on that supposed protection package. The worksheet that they had the selling price was $40,215. Sales tax for 6.5%, $2,552.84, and the dealer dock fee, that's a junk fee, $999, $1,000 call it. Registration estimated $375.85. That's about right. They have a subtotal $44,112. Factory rebate $4,500. So the total cash due out the door $39,612.69.
Wait, below MSRP?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, you called it. They got too many Dodge Chargers. So if you're a Dodge Charger fan, now's the time to buy a Dodge Charger. Just be careful, because you got to go through the process of competitive pricing, comparison, Costco auto buying program, TrueCar. Use a program, use Edmunds or anything else you can get, and shop and compare at least 3 or 4 different dealerships. And if you do, you can get a real good price on a 2024 Dodge Charger. 2023? Okay. He then asked if the price worked for me. I commended him for honoring the online pricing. Now, this is almost unheard of, and that was kind of like the surprise that we talked about, and Nancy alluded to earlier. Rarely have we ever gone into a car dealership with an online price and actually got the price. Now, we had to haggle, but we still got the price. Gregory explained that it's the dealership's ethos not to pressure customers into buying something they wouldn't personally choose. He mentioned previous experiences further south we had to do just that. I informed Gregory that I needed to consult with my husband. Again, I'm speaking in the first person as if I were Agent Lightning before making a decision. He asked if I wouldn't mind waiting while he informed his sales manager. At a few minutes, he returned and asked if there was a price that would make me want to buy the car immediately. I thanked him for his consideration, but repeated that I needed time to think it over with my husband. He understood, made sure I had his contact information before thanking me for the visit. Now listen to this. Agent Lightning has never said this in any mystery shopping report. So I don't know. I hope she's not getting soft. I think she's still tough, and I believe that she meant this. Here's, quote, Agent Lightning. In all my years of shopping, Gregory was the most sincere and professional car salesman I've ever encountered.
Wow.
I had to read that twice. Nancy said, did you see what Agent Lightning said? I said, yeah. Wow. So, I've never heard her endorse a salesman or a dealership.
Never.
So that's special.
Very,
And,
very special.
Take that into mind when you come up with a grade. And as I should have told you, if I haven't already, we grade on the curve because we don't have a lot of A dealers, a handful. You don't fail a dealer unless they are just crooks. I mean, just absolutely scary bad crooked. So we use C as the average grade of the curve, and C is average. And in South Florida, the average dealer is pretty bad. So grade on the curve, Rick.
Now, we should let them know that this is a leftover 2023.
Okay, yeah.
It's a brand new car.
Yeah.
It has never been titled,
Yeah.
but it is a 23.
Yeah, be careful today because we're in that strange time of year, calendar year, where you're seeing 2023s, 2024s, and people are buying 2025s. So when you say new car, the new car is not a 2023 today. It's not really a new car. Technically, it's a new car because it's never been titled, but it's truly not a new car. So take that into consideration and be careful. Know the calendar year. Am I buying a 2023, 2024, or 2025? So please submit your grades, and we'll see what we have to say about Massey Yardley Chrysler Dodge Jeep of Plantation.
Okay. Let's see. We're going to start with the text-in ones.
And I'll remind everyone, you can text your grade at 772-497-6530. And you can also go to gooddealerbaddealers.com, and you can check out the information that we have up at that site. Go ahead, Rick.
We've got Jonathan in Palm Coast. Too many useless add-ons, too many fraudulent frees, but a price that's better than MSRP is amazing. They get a B+ from me. And Bob says, A on the Dodge Charger, and you should hire Gregory. That actually might not be a bad idea.
Well, and that's true. You know, we sometimes forget. If you have an honest salesperson who cares about his customers or her customers, that's almost as important, or maybe more important, than the dealership. We have had. Nobody recommended by Agent Lightning before, but we have encountered these type of salespeople working in car dealerships that you got to know they wouldn't want to be working there if they had a choice. So if you can find a good salesperson, we probably should repeat Gregory's name. If anybody wants to buy a Chrysler Dodge Jeep in South Florida, we're not going to say Massey Yardley. We'll say go see Gregory.
At Massey Yardley.
At Massey Yardley.
So you know where to find him.
Yeah. That's where, because he's Gregory's there, we would recommend Massey Yardley, because Gregory will take care of you once he understands that you're going to be straight up with him. He'll be straight up with you. So I wish we had his last name. Maybe we could get that from Agent Lightning later.
Can you imagine if all of a sudden this guy gets like 5 or 6 people in the next week come in and specifically ask for him because
Yeah.
they heard his name on our radio show.
We did that many years ago. We had a couple of salespeople that we used to recommend, not the dealership, but we would recommend the salespeople.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. T Cash says F for Frost Blue and COL. Frozen in time addendums. Okay. All right. Joseph Kelleher says C plus would have been higher without the high dock fee. Yeah, that $9.99. Oof, that hurts. Cliff Pick says we have a jumper of a deal, but he didn't give a grade. Hey, Cliff, give us a grade, will you, buddy? Brian Zidleko says B for me. Donovan says it's a 23 because there's no 2024. Production of that car has ended. I guess they're stopping the four-door models, and the 25 is actually going to the two-door, the new Dodge Charger.
So that'll be the 2025?
The new one, yeah, will be the two-door.
Interesting.
Yeah. Rocky Blockatiel says for $2,790, I would choose to be disadvantaged. Grade B. Tim Gilliland, more good than bad, but the dock fee is still an issue for me. B minus. Now, for me, the fact that Gregory even came back and said, hey, my manager wants to know, is there a price that you would be buying this car today? And if you offered, say, take away that $1,000 dock fee.
Good point.
They might very well go for it. And boom, you've just got your sale.
That's a very good point. I missed that. I'm glad we had that input because you always, until you actually sign, there's always a little bit more you can negotiate off, no matter how small. I mean, be sure it's in writing. They'll do things for you to get you to sign that you wouldn't expect they would do. So that's a very good point.
Yeah. And Johnny Z. Fradley says, the price is too high for a 2023 and the high inventory. C. Cliff Pick says, I give this. He says, I give a C.
Okay, let me take over. Both my partners here are dying.
I'm going to go ahead. That's terrible. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to vote. I'm going to give Gregory an A.
Yeah.
What a great salesperson, whether it's male or female. It's definitely nice.
We should start a separate grading procedure just for salespeople. We should have, and we could follow the salespeople around if they would keep in touch with us. What a wonderful idea.
Yeah, you come up with a lot of great
I'm a
ideas. That would be a
genius.
great process. But at any rate, A for Gregory, as I was saying, whether it be male or female, it's always great to have somebody that's going to work with you as far as a purchase that you're going to be making. And, there's two big purchases that we make in our lifetime, and that is a home and a car. Anyway, I am going to give the dealership a D. I'm not crazy about that dock fee, and they're very lucky they got the D from me.
For me, I'm going the other way. I'm impressed. Gregory, and the fact that they immediately got rid of the Advantage package thing. They didn't even bother trying it. They only have the one dock fee, the one junk fee, which I think they would have gotten rid of it. I'm going with the A minus. I'm saying if you want a Chrysler, Dodge, or Jeep, you see Gregory down there, I think you can get rid of the dock fee, and you can get a heck of a deal, even on the old Charger. Yeah, it's a year old, but it's a brand new car. The new ones are coming out for $25.
Yeah.
And I guarantee they've got other inventory that if they're going to be that honest on their pricing on all of it,
yeah,
hey, it's worth a try. I would talk to them.
Yeah, there's negotiating
Well,
room.
I'm going to make it a B with an asterisk that you have to buy it from Gregory. So we're going to start a whole new thing with mystery shopping now. We're going to try to get salespeople involved in names And I'll ask Agent Lightning to try to get the first and last name of the salespeople so we can follow them around, because they do move. But for this particular shopping report, Massey Yardley, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Plantation, we're going to give them a B with an asterisk if you buy it from Gregory.
Yeah, most cases they give out a business card, so it's going to be easy to do.
And here's that. We have time, right? I just want to say that there's a terrible business practice that the car dealers did rampantly before the pandemic, before the whole COVID thing, and everything changed. And it was called stair-step financing. That's an inside term that car dealers and manufacturers understand. But it's a crazy way that the manufacturers get the buggy whip out to get the car dealers to sell more cars and sell them faster and sell cars and accept cars from the manufacturer for the inventories that they don't want. Stair-step financing. Ford has revised that now. So when Ford revises it, General Motors will be following. Who knows, Toyota, Honda. At one point, almost all the car dealerships had this. Now, if you haven't listened to the show before, stair-step financing, I'm going to hold the Automotive News article up in front of the camera so you can see it. Stair-step financing. The manufacturer says to a dealer, in the next 3 months, if you sell 300 cars, we will pay you at the end of those 3 months. If you sell 300 cars, we will pay you $500 per car retroactively. Now multiply $500 times 300 cars. That's, what is that, $150,000? $150,000. Now what if they only sell 299? They don't get it. So you can see what a chaotic incentive that is. The dealer doesn't know how to price the cars. So for the first month of that 90-day period, he's got prices he's trying to sell these cars for. Suddenly he realizes he's not selling cars fast enough to hit his 300 mandatory quota. If he doesn't hit it, it's going to cost him $150,000. Now, it could be $250,000 or it could be $350,000, depending on the manufacturer and the dealer. What this means to you, the consumer, is when you walk in to buy a car from this particular dealership during that 90-day period, the best price you can possibly get is going to be at the end of it. Because if that dealer is not anywhere near his incentive and he is desperate to hit that number, he will cut the price of the car as far as he has to. Actually, and we've seen this, I've seen situations where dealers had actually sold cars below cost, which you say, well, that's a good thing. Well, it's a good thing if you don't mind chaos and you don't mind uncertainty. And you can imagine entering that dealership on the last day and see what happens. And what if you had bought the car 2 months earlier? You would have paid thousands of dollars more for that car than you would just a couple of months afterwards. So that's what throws the car dealership into the status that it is now, which is the manufacturer participating in the chaos. They're creating this problem with stair-step financing. So I just say shame on Ford for doing this, and you other manufacturers, learn something from this pandemic. Learn that you can sell cars with lower inventories. You don't have to shove cars down the dealers' throats and force them to sell a certain quota. Let the marketplace take care of it. My word to the dealers. Are we through?
Does this mean that we should buy stock in the companies making those wide white leather belts, polyester suits, and the white shoes?
Well, it's a possibility.
Put them back in the 1970s used car salesman outfits?
They feel like they have to do it. And see, the competition is what drives the chaos.
Yeah.
Ford's got to beat General Motors. General Motors got to beat Honda. Honda's got to beat Toyota. And it's the 30-day cycle. Every 30 days, if you watch CNBC, read the Wall Street Journal, the first thing all the investors want to know is, did Ford hit their forecast? Did General Motors hit their forecast? Every 30 days. And if you miss your forecast, the stock drops. When the stock drops, a lot of these top executives are paid with stock options.
Yeah.
So a huge amount of the compensation for the presidents and the CEOs, the top 10 or 12 executives in any auto manufacturing company gets probably half their compensation from the stock price. So it's a 30-day battle. If Honda beats Toyota, all the Honda executives are tickled to death because they hit their bonus money. And this chaos trickles down into the marketplace, into the consumer, affects the consumer, affects the dealer. So as a dealer, I am enjoying the relatively smooth ride that we've had with low inventories. I want more cars, but on the other hand, I don't want Toyota to be coming up to me putting a gun to my head and saying, listen, you better take another 100 cars or else.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of market we emerged from 4 years ago before the pandemic.
Very, very chaotic and unnecessary.
Yeah.
We are going to wrap up the show, but first I want to thank our digital genius who keeps us, that is Jonathan, just in case you forgot his name, who keeps us aware of the clock ticking, and he keeps us on the straight and narrow. Thank you to Rick for your fast response in my dizziness, and a special thank you to the man of the hour, Earl Stewart. We'll be right back here next week, same time at 8 a.m. on the Oldies channel. Thank you for joining us. Have a beautiful weekend.